All university students who qualified for university placement will be eligible for funding.
However, the level of funding for each student will depend on the monthly household income, and each student will individually apply for the scholarship and loans soon after receiving admission letters. Brenda Wanga with more.
In the new funding model that takes effect with the admission of the 2022 KCSE candidates into university, the government will now seek to channel higher education assistance directly to individual students based on a carefully curated criteria. Those seeking financial aid from the government have been classified into 4 categories: the vulnerable, the extremely needy, the needy, and the less needy. Under the Higher Education Loans Board's means testing instruments, those students falling under the vulnerable and extremely needy band will qualify for 100% government funding for their studies, with the money coming as scholarship and loans, and those deemed to be needy and less needy will get 93% government funding, with the students bearing 7% of the tuition cost.
When the president was making his speech, he said 45,000 students from the university will not pay a cent. 42,000 from the TVET will also not pay a cent. So we want to be able to follow some of these people and actually know that, see the actual impact of this.
The new funding model also seeks to ensure accountability and transparency in the application and funding of higher education that shall consider, amongst other things, the applicant's family socio-economic background, affirmative action which will consider people living with disabilities, orphans and those from marginalized areas, as well as gender considerations, the applicant's household composition and size. This data will have to be validated by strategic partners. The funding will also take into account the individual cost of the student's course.
Also talking about the elephant in the house, what is the fees? The actual question, what are students going to pay? When we talk of 7%, we want to be able to unpackage that today.
The process begins this month with the opening of the KUPS portal and placement that seeks to ensure that the 173,000 students qualified to join universities are placed in the country's universities. Between July and September, those placed will then apply for government funding before the fund's disbursement in August and September and the beginning of the first year of study. The government is seeking to delink placement of students and funding of students in this new model that it also hopes will promote equality, efficiency, and transparency in higher education funding. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV, Nairobi.